Welcome, dear listeners, to a heartfelt episode of Rooted in Healing. I am your host today, Tara Purcell, and I'm absolutely delighted to be here, guiding you in this touching journey of friendship, resilience, and a profound healing power of cannabis. Today, we have the honor to welcome two extraordinary guests who not only share a bond that has endured for over 30 years, but are also both cannabis patients. Joining us on our show today is Donna and Styer. They're both lifelong friends who have connected. Their friendship has connected and weathered tests of time and served as a beacon of strength and support. Their friendship has coupled their experiences as cannabis patients, has profoundly shaped their healing journey. So throughout this episode, we will delve into the captivating stories of Donna and Spring as they graciously share their insights, challenges, and some triumphs as both friends and cannabis patients. And together we will explore the transformative power of friendship and the profound role cannabis has played in pursuit of their wellness. Donna and Spring's enduring friendship has been a source of solace and strength as they navigate life's joys and sorrows. And today we have the privilege of uncovering the intertwined narratives of their friendship and their shared experiences as cannabis patients. Compassion in Cannabis seeks to inspire, celebrate, and empower with a focus on the bonds that sustain us through life's challenges. And these stories that we bring will serve as a poignant reminder of the beauty of friendship, the power of support, and the healing of the power of cannabis. So, without further ado, let us immerse ourselves in the heartfelt conversation with Donna and Spring Styer as we explore the intertwining paths of friendships, healing, and the remarkable influence of cannabis. Thank you and welcome.
Thank you.
How are you guys today?
Blessed.
Amen. Amen. It's a very nice honor to have you guys with us. You guys' friendship, we're really excited for this story. So I'm just going to go ahead and kick it off. And I'm just going to ask you guys this question and we're going to get to know you. But can you guys share with us how your guys' friendship has evolved over the years and how it has provided support and strength in your individual healing journey? And include in that, like, as cannabis patients, what led you both to explore cannabis as a potential form of treatment?
Well, I met Donna after a marriage fell apart and I ended up homeless. And she was one of the kids, the local kids that hung out at a local park. And she was very angry, and I don't blame her. She has epilepsy, and she lived in a community that treated it and her the wrong way, not just medically, but just humanly. Like, they just treated her like she was a sickness because they couldn't find a way to stop her epilepsy. And it took Donna leaving Indiana to stay alive. And I've been very blessed to find out that it worked. She has a very, very interesting story that could potentially make a big difference for a lot of people that struggle with a very severe issue. I can't wait for her to share.
Thank you, Spring.
That's
her friendship. She's been a dear friend of mine, and you know, at that same park, I seen this woman feed so many people, and she was with Food Not Bombs, and she was inspirational to me from the get-go. Like she said, we met in the park. I had refractory seizures, epilepsy with photosensitivity, so I was always seizure prone. They could never find a medication that could work, none of that. And I left my hometown, and on my way to leaving my hometown to the place locally there at that park, I was raped and I conceived, and I have an open adoption. My child's grown now, but you know, living with a condition that people, you know, on the surface kind of understand, but at the same time they don't. And so it was really difficult for me. And she was right. I was full of anger. I was full of rage. I seen a lot of injustice going on, not just with myself, but other people with health issues. We lived in a community that, you know, hails itself as a very open community, you know, and they totally have disregard for people living with disabilities. And I remember before Spring left home, she you know, took off in her bus with her kids. She was having health issues of her own, and they were not able to figure out what was going on. And we bonded. You know, I felt so bad for this beautiful person that was here feeding all these people, taking care of the community. And, you know, and I could only imagine they were treating her at that same hospital and those same medical communities the same way that I've been, you know, treated that whole entire time. And around 2014, my mom had passed away. She had cancer. She passed on Mother's Day. And having other family members pass away from some similar things, and having epileptics also in the family, I just seen the way that people treated them. So I left my late partner and headed out to Washington and Oregon. And along the way, my late partner made contact with a fellow named John Marsh, who was a medicine man. He was featured in an article. He had an interview. And I was not even aware that, you know, Steve and John were in contact. So it was a surprise when I got there. And, you know, that got me started on healing. The sacrifice of my late partner to like pick up, sell off everything, our entire life. He had an IT business, and, you know, I would help, but he took care of me, you know, and he was my caregiver. He was pretty much my everything. And when he passed away, I was stranded out there. I didn't know a lot of people. I didn't want to, like, you know, burden people. And it took me a lot of places because I was a full-time RVer, and having to pay somebody that you can trust to drive your rig here and there and not be like a creep or anything. You know, I had myself in a lot of situations trying to find a way to stay seizure free. Mm-hmm. And when I left that region of the country, I switched up medicine people. John had a lot of workload on him. I mean, I'm sure it was a lot to keep up with just me, but he had other patients too. And I think that, you know, what he does is an amazing thing. And I just hope that there's so many more people that, you know, come to his, you know, sites and pages on Facebook and see the actual healing, the success stories that he promotes. Right. And yeah, so when I changed my medicine person, I switched to Tori Wright. And Tori Wright, yeah, she's beautiful and she's remarkable, and she's just Oh.
Yes. That's Tori. Blessed be.
Yes, I love her.
Mm.
And, she's inspirational too. And I've been living the last 3 years seizure free, despite like COVID and all these other things. And she's just like,
Yeah.
she's a blessing. And
So,
yeah, getting to spring here. During COVID, I'm like, whatever happened to Spring? I loved her so much. She's like this amazing person. I want to know how she's doing. And we found her. Me and my cousin from back home found her on Facebook. And during COVID, I understood that there's a lot of people not getting the mental health that they needed.
yeah.
Including myself.
Yeah, me too.
And we kind of did a kind of like a support group of us
Wow.
locals, and I'm trying to get Spring into safer, greener pastures and connected with Tori. So hopefully this will be a journey into the sunset with less.
The grand plan is that we're working on moving to Eugene because there is a Fabry clinic for I have a rare genetic disease called Fabry disease, and there happens to be a clinic in Eugene that we are going to go and see, because the only treatment that they offer here in Indiana only makes me sicker and sicker.
Oh.
But in doing that, we're going to make sure that Donna, at the beginning of the pandemic, went down to Florida to see a friend, and she's been stuck down there. She can't fly, obviously, because of fever issues. And just, plain old traveling with the immunocompromised system, you have to be careful. You just can't just jump on a Greyhound.
Yeah.
And so, plan is that we're going to get Donna, and we're all going out to Eugene, and we're going to live together so we can take care of each other.
Blessed be. I'll be closer to you guys too.
But we both, we have different things to offer each other. My journey has been much different. Like I said, for a long time, I wasn't feeling well, but we had no name for it. It wasn't until 7 years ago I had a massive stroke that took 87% of my vision and many other capabilities. It wasn't until 2 years after that until I finally got my Fabry diagnosis that we knew what caused the stroke.
Oh, wow.
Since then, I've had a massive heart attack. I was bedridden for the first 2 years of the pandemic because my option was to go to the hospital alone. And when you have as little vision as I have, you keep your seeing eyes with you, and that's what David is to me. And when I'm in brighter lights like that, it takes away what else, drowns out what little else vision I have. I have kaleidoscope eyes. So it's basically like if you look through a straw, what you see through that straw is clear. The rest is like looking through a kaleidoscope, and the amount of light depends on how much of that whole I can see. So, as you can see, I sit in dark a lot to try to be able to see as much as I can. But so when Donna and her cousin found me, I was bedridden and feeling so alone. More alone than I ever could, because you face your own mortality like that. But I would have rather have died home alone, or home with David than in a hospital alone.
Yeah.
And that was my choice.
Wow.
But finding this clinic is a game changer. And David, luckily, just fell out of the sky, has this weird inheritance coming that will give us enough money to move all of us out there so that we can be together and help each other.
Wow.
Because none of us are in the best place for us to be right now. Neither one of us.
That's really important.
We need to be.
See.
She in the firework light of Disney. She gets 2 light shows every night. She's an epileptic. That's not idealistic at all.
No, right.
Yeah.
Magic Kingdom and Epcot.
Oh man, right. So the fireworks and all are going off, huh?
Every night.
Every night. Yeah, I imagine.
Put the blinds down and put the curtains over and wait for it to be done. And
oh my goodness. Every night.
Every night.
Like, not just for the weekend.
Yeah, every night.
Every night, so you prepare for it.
Yeah.
Wow. You know, it's a really interesting journey, you know, and it's a blessing that you guys have found each other, your friends, and it's honoring that you guys acknowledge within yourselves that, you know, that it takes a village and that friendship is valuable and that you've reached out and you've got somebody, because, you know, there's a lot of us that are at home that loneliness is real, you know, that it does eat at the brain and it does impact our overall health when we're not feeling good in the head, and that just impacts our gut, and we can almost like take ourselves on a downward spiral just through emotions alone, you know, that it works against it. And then we're like trying to heal ourselves, but we're working against our own polarities ultimately, you know. So, you know, I see a real blessing in this, and you guys are both up against a lot of skepticism where you are.
Oh, yeah.
We're both like in states, Florida, I think we are medical.
Medical, yeah.
Indiana, medical?
No, not at all. That's why I had to leave.
No.
Right, Indiana's a red state. You're in Oregon now. You're in Florida.
Florida.
Yeah,
Like,
I have doctors that lecture me on a regular basis. And I'm like, you don't even fully understand my disease. Like, you won't even try to fully understand my disease. And you're going to lecture me about this. Like,
so
learn a little bit more. Then I'll consider what you have to say. But, like, yeah,
So you're up against the doctors not supporting medical cannabis with you. You're Spring?
Oh, yeah, I fight it every day here.
Oh, man.
I fight it every day here.
For me, they told me that they can pull your insurance. I have the potential to find a medicine person that I could have my medicine regularly and not sporadically. But it's really probably not going to happen until I leave Indiana, unfortunately.
Wow. No, it's really unfortunate that you have to life.
You know, well,
I fear for her.
We know I'm dying early. We know I'm dying early. And all that matters to me is that we get us and we get Donna and we get moved. If I can do one more good thing in my life, then I'm okay.
She's done so many good things in her life. She's a beautiful soul, and I don't want her to perish there.
20 years of relief work that stopped. It stopped the day I had my stroke. And I can no longer go feed people. And that's still a really hard pill for me to swallow. Every time I see a tornado, a big fire, a hurricane, I itch to put that kitchen back together and pack it up and go help, and I can't. I can't drive it there, and I can't work 18-hour days anymore, and it kills me. But if I can help Donna,
I want to help you because you're my inspiration. And
I love you, damn it.
So many. I love you too. We got to get you out of there.
I am but a mirror. I am but a mirror. You are the light.
We're both lights and mirrors.
We are. We're all connected, and we are all reflections of each other ultimately. And it's always a blessing when you really look at like how we're connected and who we connected to, and that divine reason that person came into our life. And I imagine that it's beyond hard, especially when you're a giver and a caregiver and a person who gives to this earth, and all of a sudden that joy of giving has been paused, and it's just paused. So thank you right now, because this is another form of giving, and there's ways to give. And sometimes I find most of the people I know that are such givers, like it's hard for them to receive. And, at that time, like it's time to come back, and expect it to come back. And it takes a village. It takes a village, and we're always like, I always tell my friends are far, my friends are far and few between, in a world of billions, we always get connected to the one, and that one is special. And it's really honoring to see that you guys have this for each other, and that you guys are working together to evolve out of this situation and grow together, even mentally, acknowledging our mental health in this whole process. I mean, even for people who don't even think they have mental health issues, there's a whole other world of acknowledgement taking place within all of us, that it's hard to say that any of us are okay. Like, by definition of okay, like,
We live in America. By definition, I don't see how any of us can be okay anymore. Like, the country's just turned you upside down, and they're like, it's not healthy. None of us are really okay. It's just those of us that can admit that we're not okay that are really the most okay.
Yeah, and this world is terrifying right now. There's so much going on, that I've had to actually cut back the news. Even in my class, I was in political science. I just had to pause, like every day I had to watch the news. I was grateful to stop for a minute, because it was really, there's a lot. Yeah. There's a lot going on. There's big fights going on. And there's, another one, even one of your fight for health and wellness. Like, technically your elements don't change regardless of what state you're in.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, like, it don't matter. I mean, it's a blessing now. What matters now what state you're in is if you can get the help. Donna, you had seizures for how long of your life?
Since I was a child, since 1986. Yeah.
Whoa. Were you given medication for this the whole time?
I was given Depakote, Dilantin, Tegretol, which I formed a thing called Stevens-Johnson syndrome, SJS, which I had what they call it, drug rash, but it was a 105.8 fever, and my skin started look like I had pink freckles, and then went all purple. And my skin was basically baking itself off right there at the hospital.
Whoa.
Yeah. And then they had me on several other medications. And then I endured a traumatic brain injury, being pulled out of a car, and my head landed on my back of the head landed on asphalt. And it cracked. It fractured my skull, and one of those places that the skull fracture happened was on my occipital lobe, and so they try to hold a bunch of different medications, everything from Vimpat, and then they Lactamol, which is also related to Tegretol in the Sufra drug family, and caused me another reaction, drug rash. And then they switched me to Keppra, and then I got to enjoy the the pleasure of having a thing called Keppra rage. And Keppra rage is kind of like a psychosis. You're having a psychosis, especially when you have no reset time between seizures. You have a post-ictal, the after seizure portion. And when you're staying seizure prone and seizure, you're staying in that state of post-ictal.
Oh my God.
That can cause a psychosis.
Oh, wow.
You don't have any clue of what you're doing, what's going on, where your surroundings are. Sometimes I would wake up in some location. I don't even know how I got there.
Oh, wow.
I mean, yeah, they had me on all kinds of medications. And the last interaction that I had with the hospital community there in Indiana, they were getting ready to take and put me away for observation, and had gotten me a social worker and all this stuff. And, you got to remember, these people are the same people that told me cannabis will cause you to have breakthrough seizures.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. It was ridiculous. I had my late partner come and get me and save me out of there. And we're like, okay, this is the game plan. We liquidate our business and we get the hell out.
Wow.
And that's what we did.
They just wanted to put her away for epilepsy. That was their solution, was to put her away.
Oh my goodness. And
now,
go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, today would have been my great aunt Lola's 87th birthday. Now, my aunt Lola was a hero. Now, epilepsy runs in my family, and on both sides. And I've seen the contrast on how one side of the family treats it and how the other side treated it. Now, my great-grandmother had epilepsy and lived in the state of Illinois. She was a mother of 5 or 6, and she lost a baby because the medication that she was on and was making the other baby sick that she was breastfeeding. So the state of Illinois decided to take all the babies away.
Oh no.
And put them in the soldier sailors home. And while trying to portray my great-grandmother as unfit, my Aunt Lola at 5 years old ran away and walked 40 miles back home.
Whoa.
And eventually my family went back and sued them and told them, hey, you claim that she's unfit to see, watch over my kids, but here's my little one tracking 40 miles.
Right? Whoa.
Back home. So I just wanted to honor my Aunt Lola. She just passed away 2 days ago, and today would have been her birthday. So.
Oh, wow. Well, condolences. And thank you.
But yeah, they had her on medications too that were, just making the baby sick, and killed one. And, I keep hearing these stories, these horror stories from my dad's family. And, then from my mom's side, I have an uncle, or I had an uncle. He's since passed, Gary, and everybody treated him like crap because he couldn't control his seizures. So he was not a valued member of the family because he wasn't a bread maker, breadwinner or anything. And they always talked very disparagingly of him. And from that, he developed mental health issues that was so severe that it led into alcoholism. And, you know, seeing those examples of how he is treated, I was treated the same way by like my immediate family. Not my dad's side of the family, but my mother's side of the family, even my own siblings.
Wow.
You know, so the medications
in Indiana, but not exclusively in Indiana, but in
What
the
was that?
Midwest. This is how I said in Indiana, but not exclusively in Indiana, but a lot in the Midwest. This is how epilepsy is treated. This is how grown people with epilepsy are treated. They're treated like mental criminals.
Wow.
And it's
same thing for the way they treated her and treated her. I mean,
oh no, they treated me like I was an addict, like I was faking it, and it was all in my head, and I was
to treat you
there for attention and like everything. I mean, I would take my pain medication with me, and I'd be like, "Look, I don't want pills. There's something wrong with me. I want a name. I need a name."
Right.
For years,
What
and
were you
they just thought I was.
Didn't even know the name of the fucking disease that you had.
What was that?
What were you experiencing?
Just everything from extreme neuropathy pains to the fact that I can't digest food properly. I have extreme stomach issues.
Right.
Extreme stomach issues. I've had to have surgeries over it and everything.
Wow.
But like yeah, everything that that I'd be in one state and they're like, "Oh, well, you're faking," and I'd go to another state and they're like, "Oh, you got here just in time. We just barely saved you."
Oh God.
You know, and
God. Question everything.
They treated me like a medical piranha, but now that they have a name for it, they call me a medical unicorn.
Oh wow.
It's a very rare disease, and it's genetic. Unfortunately, when my children were born, they didn't even know that women can have it. They thought we were carriers. We didn't even know that I had it. All three of my children have it, and so does my grandson, who already had cancer. And because of his fight with cancer is actually how I got reconnected with Justin.
Oh, blessed be, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, Justin was helping us out with our grandson.
Okay. Jude,
and help save his life. He is presently
Jude, right?
Yep. Yeah. Jude is presently a strumping, healthy young man about to turn 10.
About to turn 10
and
as tall as me.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. That is so blessed. Oh, goodness.
Honestly, when he started his chemo, it nearly killed him. And it wasn't until that came in and we got it up to the hospital that we had the proactive, that we could balance the chemo. It's what saved his life. The chemo would have done him.
And so when you're, and I guess I'm going to overall this with both of you guys, and then if you'd like to include Jude in this question as well, is how did you counteract that? What steps did you take as far as medicinally to help that process and help your guys' process along with, because you got chemo and then you have the medications that you're giving. That's a lot to come off and it's a lot to balance. Can you explain that process that you guys maybe took on to help those steps, or what you did as well?
I'll let Donna go first because she actually works with an actual medicine woman and has gotten her seizures under control. I'm still kind of guessing around on mine.
Okay. See,
well,
so
but I can
for me, I actually used to own a radio network. And one of those individuals that came on for an interview was Rick Simpson.
Oh, wow.
I kind of took cues from him, but I personally use FICO. John Marsh got me, turned on to like learning as much as I could about FICO oil and how it's created, and taught me how to like make my medicine in a pinch if need be.
Yeah.
But with Tori, I need to get up there and start learning how to make my formula. She also uses the FICO formula, method to creating. And for everybody that might be tuning in doesn't know, FICO is short for full extract cannabis oil, and what RSO is Rick Simpson oil. And there's slightly a difference between the way the two are made. And so I'm going the FICO route, and it has been the most beneficial for me. And like I said, the last 3 years under Tori's care has been just like life-changing. I mean, I'm talking about dozens of seizures a day, and like all throughout the night. As soon as most people would hit REM, I would just go into a seizure state, like constant, kind of like a epileptic status epilepticus, and rest, like mentally strained and drained, and meeting Tori. I first met her at a Cannabis in Astoria. I went there with John and my late partner and a friend of mine from Wisconsin and his girlfriend, and she was giving a talk, and we bought a couple of her items, some of her things that she was selling there, or she had, for there, and we just, him and like my late partner Steve and her, they just like took it like it was kismet. That's the best way I can explain it. It was kismet. It was meant to be, and that was when it was meant to be. So it wasn't until 3 or 4 years ago when I left Cali, because my adventures took me to Cali, and then now I'm in Florida. She started talking to me. We had a consultation, and she created a formula. Not only it helps with the seizures, but also the headaches derived from the skull fractures, the muscle aches, everything. She gives me my own custom blend, and she gives me a lavender plus and a lavender CBD. And I am good as gold. And I want to share this with everybody, especially my people, my tribe, my spring, everybody that I know that has a medical condition that can benefit from, cannabis oil, talking to the right people, especially Tori. She is like, oh my goodness, she is on it. She knows her stuff.
Powerhouse. She is a powerhouse. I can vouch for Tori, so we'll do a shout out to Die For Creations by Tori Wright. You can find her on Facebook, social medias. You can find her at your local trade shows, probably ready. You can find her out on the streets yelling and protesting about the cannabis oils. She is fantastic. She definitely does custom care, and that's what's really important when you are seeking out that care, is to really make sure you are educated, but also find someone who else is educated to help guide you, because there's a lot about dosing. There's a lot about making sure you're getting what you need sublingually and full extract, so that's a really good thing to cover. And how was your transition then from medications to the cannabis oil? Was it easy, or what was your regimen really that you might have implemented?
Well, I totally weaned off the medication when I was still in Indiana. it was destroying my liver. It was causing me all these issues. And, you know, I like to be in control of have my bearings, you know, have a hold of my bearings and know what's going on. I don't want to be like a mindless zombie. And so I had those medications out of my system by the time I got to John on the coast there.
Okay.
And we just did pretty much a dropper, you know, of sublingual Fico twice a day. Same thing here now, sublingual twice a day, and the lavender plus at the same time. That way I'm not like spacing, forgetting. I set my medicine alarm and all that stuff. So the transition to start the cannabis oils, it was noticeable right away. I mean, after I got enough in my system, and it was the difference between night and day. I had a few, you know, breakthrough seizures, you know, every now and then because of my menstrual cycle and everything. The hormone shifts play a really big part in my epilepsy. So, you know, we got that under control. And then, like I said, he handed me off to Tori, and it's just bam.
That's awesome.
It. And that's why it's so important to get, you know, Spring there to Oregon, to get her to, you know, greener pastures, the safer, you know, safer spaces. I think that, you know, her quality of life could improve greatly, and that is why it was so important for me to find her, because I'm like, hey, this is working for me. I hope it can work for you. We need to get you somewhere where they value and listen to your input and, you know, care, you know, not just on the cannabis level, you know, just the medical community there is way better than what she's finding there in the Midwest. So I'm a big advocate. I should work for Oregon State Tourism. I'm just
do it. Yes. And again, that's To Die For Creations with Tori Wright. If you are interested in finding this wonderful woman, she is a powerhouse. Yeah, straight powerhouse, man. She is tiny and big all at the same time. Like, love Tori. I genuinely, I've known her for so many years. So it's exciting to hear that you did get naturally connected to an amazing, amazing healer up in Oregon. So I believe in her works completely. So blessed be. Blessed be. Oh my goodness. Spring, and what about you? How is your transition with cannabis, or how you've been using it, or how you've seen it as well with Jude?
With Jude, like I said, it was night and day. I walked into his hospital bed, and I swore it didn't look like he would make it the next 24 hours. And I him in a honey, and within 24 hours, he was sitting up and playing in bed.
Wow. And how old was he?
3.5 when he was first diagnosed.
Man, that's young. Very young.
My daughter worked. Justin helped to begin with, but then we found a medicine woman, Grandma Cat, I think she goes by, out of Washington.
Yeah. I love all these great healers and all these people. It's a blessing.
She worked with her through the rest of his treatments, and it was just the difference of night and day. Like when he would have his chemo, like the different regimens of chemo that they give for leukemia, some of them were harsher than others, and so like during certain regimens she would have to step it up a little more, but he did really fine. We're actually trying to get things lined out for a checkup because for some reason since the beginning of the pandemic, because he finished his chemo right at the beginning of the pandemic, they have not called for a checkup yet, which we don't like.
So we're gonna call them tomorrow.
So we're trying to shake them down and be like, hey,
he needs a checkup.
You need to check up. This is a disease you're supposed to keep an eye on.
They also didn't sign him up for his Make-A-Wish. So that's
another
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I gotta get on that.
Are we allowed to ask?
Huh?
You don't have to. I asked what his wish was.
I think if I remember correctly, it was Mario Land he wants to go to. Mario World. I don't.
Oh. The Mario World.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in Los Angeles.
See, he got into video games and stuff a lot because, he didn't have the energy to play.
And he couldn't do a lot.
For a very long time. So, that was his outlet. And so, you don't just take his best friend away just because he's feeling better.
Right. Because it's nothing that changed.
Yeah. And so, she wants to surprise him with Mario World. For his birthday. As for my regiment, we're still trying to figure that one out. It's I have a local friend that makes tincture for me when he's able to, and because it's very rare, I treat it like gold, and I use it only on the worst days. But the whole concept is to try to, we want to use less of the pills that they throw at me.
Yeah.
Because this disease attacks my major organs. So, so do pills.
Yeah.
So the less we can get me off of the pain pills and the other kind of pills and stuff, the longer we can try to milk those organs to live.
Well, I've seen it with my own eyes.
And
the more cannabis products that she uses,
the less pain
I'm in. The less pain she's in, and the less pain pills she uses.
And the more likely I'm to keep food down.
Yeah.
I do. It's...
Right now it costs us a fortune. We're in the Midwest. It literally costs a fortune.
Access is not access. There is no access.
There is no access.
Not really.
And so you're in a red state?
Not
even a medical
we're a blue dot in a red state. We're a blue dot.
Oh yeah. I live up in Butte County. It was a red stone in a blue state for a real long time. Up until a year ago. We're really behind. Yeah. It was hard. And that's what, Justin got burned out, for his compassion program. And that was a real thing. We were the last when they stopped allowing compassion programs, they shut them down. And we were in November, and we were rated in February, so it did put a halt. And it's interesting because it's look where we're at. Look at where everything, we should be just across the board accepting this as a healing medicine. And it should be our elements. You're going to change states and you got to move, and you should have access, because no matter where you are, it's the same. We are, our body doesn't change because we cross over a line.
Everything I've read about my disease, a lot of logic says that by adding the right blend, I could do a whole lot. Right now I have to do these bi-weekly infusions called Fabrazyme. It is the only option that Indiana has, and it makes me very sick.
Oh, wow.
They have recently started doing a test where they take the enzyme that my body is missing.
Yeah.
And they shoot it directly into my liver, and it teaches the liver to start making it,
start producing the enzyme.
Essentially
it's a cure.
Cures it, but it's still in testing.
Still in trial.
But that will never happen in the state of Indiana because the pharmaceutical company
that owns the state.
Yeah.
I mean,
the owns the state.
I mean, the pharmaceutical companies own the state. We are the home of Eli Lilly.
My geneticist, his wife works for the company, so every time I get an infusion, she gets a bonus and he gets a bonus.
The only time
so they're not switching pharmaceutical companies anytime soon.
No.
I will have no option. I will have no chance to get that treatment when it becomes available. I need to find a place where it will happen so that I can get it done, so that I can get my children to get it done. Otherwise, if I live longer than 65, it'll be a miracle.
Wow.
If she misses infusion, I get a phone call from the drug company.
Ew.
It is the top.
Huh?
It is the top.
Genzyme, Sanofi.
It is the top 5 most expensive medication in the world.
Yeah, it's $52,000.
It's $52,000 per infusion.
Per infusion. That's $1,325,000.
So yeah, they get a good bonus every time I get an infusion.
Yeah.
Wow. So when you go to Oregon, you said you found a clinic now. Is this what they're offering there then?
They're offering different types of treatments, but right now that therapy is still in trials.
But they offer this and other things.
Yeah, they offer a pill I can take once a month.
There's a pill.
They offer an injection I can take
once a month.
That'll last only an hour versus 5 hours every 2 weeks.
And it's once a month.
Right.
So there's a lot of other options that are opened out there, and they're more likely. The drug companies that they work with are more likely to be open to this new drug therapy than Genzyme ever will be because of how much Fabry costs them.
Yeah.
How much they get for giving patients Fabry.
I mean, they're the only company that makes it.
They have no interest in anything else because they make so much money off of it.
Oh my gosh, right. They don't even know in 5 years what the results are yet. So you're still part of the trial.
Yeah, and this is a drug that has never technically been tested on women. It was only tested on men because they thought we couldn't get it.
Yeah,
wow.
The carriers of the X gene.
Up to 20 years ago, they thought that women were only carriers. They didn't realize.
Wow.
And I happen to be a woman that has every symptom just like men carry.
Wow.
I have a few women that carry the whole shit and shebang.
Now, I can send you some information on it.
There goes my luck. When I go and do everything, I do it to extremes. My body decides to do that too.
In all ways, our body.
Yeah.
Wow. That's.
You know how to do this. Head first. No. Just this once. No.
Right. Yeah, no, I think that it's interesting how we need to be aware of what we are taking in, because even when you look at our grocery stores, there's items that are labeled healthy, keto, eat me, I'm healthy, take it. And then you look it up and it's filled with hazardous things inside of it, or which are going to work against our body. It's not what we should be taking in. And medications, it impacts our microbiome impacts our head. It all matters. We completely matter in this situation. So it's really unique. I mean, all the way down to that drug war. We're fighting a drug war, but the pharmaceuticals are feeding the drugs. It's really just, it's insane.
That's what it is.
You live in a state that would rather feed you Oxycontin than marijuana.
Yeah, I mean
that's just it.
We are home of Purdue.
Of Purdue. We're the home of Purdue.
Eli Lilly.
Eli Lilly's here too.
Yeah.
Right?
When you're talking about pumping up the
they would rather fill her with Oxycontin.
The drug painkiller what's the word? Epidemic.
It started here.
Oh wow. Right. Just
and that their thing is they want to they're like, here, we'll give you pills, and then they're like, well, you shouldn't take so many pills, and it's actually I'm the one that takes less than what my prescription
Right.
Often.
Yeah.
I try to take the top edge off of it, and the rest I try to manage with cannabis. I smoke, I use edibles, and I use the tincture that's made for me. But it's really expensive to do here, and on a fixed income of disability, it makes it hard.
Yeah.
So the sooner we can, I can find somebody to work with, the sooner that we can get out of here. Like,
and
I have a better chance of living, because at this point in time, I have a greater chance of a heart attack, a stroke, bloody ulcers blowing up again in my stomach and causing major, massive issues. Like, that's what caused my heart attack. I had my stomach blew up.
Wow.
And it ruptured an artery that bled into my stomach for over 5 hours, and it caused a heart attack. Because I went by ambulance to the hospital and was put in the waiting room and sat in the waiting room and had a heart attack.
5 hours.
Oh my God.
We went to another hospital to find out that I was having the heart attack.
And she was like, you're having a heart attack.
I was kind of delirious, and I was like, I'm walking. I got flustered about something. I'm walking home, and she's like, honey, you're not going anywhere. You're having a heart attack.
You're in the middle of a heart attack right now. You're not going.
Whoa. You just like walking around with a heart attack, like I'm out.
She was delirious.
I was totally delirious at that point.
Yeah.
They just.
She spent 16 days in the hospital.
Yeah, 16 days. But if they would have treated me right to begin with, it never would have happened.
7 of it, you got with a crash cart outside.
Because so many doctors don't understand this disease. We need to get ahead of it with as many proactive things as we can, so that we slow the damage down that's going on in my body. My body is making an enzyme that breaks down a fat that holds together the major organs.
The fat is called alpha galactidase.
Okay.
And it normally
or agal.
It normally breaks this fat down that gets repurposed from the body, but because it can't break it down, it collects at where it naturally is, in the brain, the heart, the liver, the kidneys, the nervous system. Your whole nervous system.
The way it was explained to us, and the best way I think of it, is the fat, the global triceramide, the fat that is not being broke down, is essentially the glue that holds the body together.
Oh wow.
So when it's repurposed, everything gets sticky. If that makes any sense.
Wow, yeah.
What happens is the enzyme breaks it down and repurposes it for other things. But that's not happening with her.
The long lifespan is 65.
Yeah, 68 years is
to live old.
Wow.
68.
We're hoping to, I've already got a couple of major issues before we ever had the diagnosis. So we're hoping to milk out another 5 if we can.
I'll put light on it.
He wants 10. I'm trying to be realistic.
I'm going to milk this for
I want as many years as I can with my friend living in happy Oregon, living healthy.
Yes.
That's what we can, but we can't do it as long as I live in Indiana.
Indiana, that's our problem.
Indiana will kill me.
Yeah.
All right. So let me ask you this.
Stayed here.
Yeah.
Being where you are, both of you guys, and all of your experiences, looking ahead, what are your hopes and aspirations for the future of cannabis in terms of research, legislation, or broader acceptance within our healthcare systems? Because you guys are fighting for your right to health and wellness, like straight up, and that is like within our rights.
Is the actual
legalization across the board, but I also honestly think that it needs to be taught in medical school.
Yeah.
Yes.
The actual pluses and minuses of it. There's only been one valid argument that I've seen about pausing marijuana use, and that's for surgery because there is a known interaction with the anesthesia.
No, some people do have an issue with marijuana. Some people.
I'm saying my issue.
Yeah, your issue. That's
with
your
my
only
issue. There is no other legitimate reason to stop use other than when I have surgeries.
Oh.
Right.
I mean,
but like the state of Indiana, I have doctors that get mad at me for it and are like, but then I turn around and I have another doctor and go, oh yeah, there's this state and this state's doing a lot of medical things. I'm not going to turn my nose up at you.
So it's all over the board.
It's all over the board. And like doctors honestly need a better understanding, even if they're not comfortable prescribing it. They need a better understanding for their patients that use it, so that we aren't judged like we're criminals for trying to seek better care.
Well, I think we should go back to an apothecary.
Right.
I like that idea.
You know, I think there should be an actual, like, you know, you go to school, you're an apothecary, and you help people with their sickness. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There needs to be a real thing, just like midwifery. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. A practice of holistic healing in their path of medicinal healing.
Those things need to be combined.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're using most of our natural plants as it is to go ahead and create these synthetic chemistries. I mean, I have a plant in my yard called the Cassia officina, and it's this yellow, beautiful tree. And I started looking into it, and it turns out that they actually extract it in all the same different manners that we extract cannabis. And they use it in the same healing properties inside of your medications. I mean, we're taking nature and we're just like altering it, you know, like why not take nature and not alter it and give it, you know, let's just support the simple basics of the root. You know, the root medicine is deep. So how about you, Donna?
My plan is to get out there, get my people out there. If laws don't change in Indiana, there need to be safe havens for people with medical issues to come to actually get quality care, be it cannabis or medical on whatever level they feel comfortable with. There needs to be places, sanctuaries, as to say. Now, when I was in Indiana, there were many stories of families with kids that had epilepsy or forms of seizures, and the hospitals would attack the families that used CBD oils before that was, you know, full on board, like legalized across, you know, the country. And so I believe in advocacy, trying to get people into situations where they can be, you know, thrive, be prosperous, healthy, and learn how to make their own medicine, learn how to eat their own food. I have celiacs on top of the epilepsy. So I have to be very careful about what I eat and how my diet is, you know. And so I want to be able to provide a place for people in my situation, in Spring's situation, to go to. And hopefully that can be obtained in Oregon. But my best, intentions is to manifest a medical care system that does incorporate cannabis considerations. Yeah. And on top of that, you know, just better health care all across the board. There's so many people that don't have quality insurance, don't have quality care. The doctors are threatening. I watched my mom, who is a disabled lady who got hit in in a work job accident and broke her back in 3 spots.
Oh man.
And, she was wheelchair bound for 20 years. I took care of her about 10 of those years. And the medical system there, instead of trying to like correct the situation or find ways to help her, like surgeries or, you know, botched surgeries is what she had.
It's what it was, a botched surgery.
It was. I mean, there was 3 breaks in her back, and they had titanium cages, and they fused wrong on her back, and she was in severe pain every day of her life. They threw opiates at her, be it methadone patches, oxycodones, all of that. I'm like,
yep,
like just standing back in like unbelief, and like in a case, in a situation of disbelief that they could put somebody on that much medication, especially the painkillers, and she suffered. I mean, she thought she had bugs on her because microscopic bugs that she couldn't see. And she sounded like a crazy person to anybody that really didn't pick up on what was happening. And trying to explain to her, you're being overprescribed these things. These are causing you issues that are going to just deteriorate your And you know, she passed away from cancer. Another thing that could have been probably easily resolved, you know, if she had the accessibility to the oils, like I went and left home for. And you know, I was just, it was sad. It was like no state of mental well-being for her, because she's always, you know, in a state of pain. And it was a terrible thing to see what they did to her in the state of Indiana. And that's why it's so important to like either figure out the legalization or to you know, stop criminalizing people. It's pretty simple. I mean, they have other people, like real criminals, to go after, not cancer patients or people with rare diseases like Spring, or, you know, family members that, you know, are trying to just be able to eat something. You know, it's terrible.
It is. It would be nice to see safe access for everybody compassionately across the board, you know, just to see that care given, to not have to fight for your right, for your health and wellness and happiness. Like, let's not include that. I mean, we were given these freedoms, you know, that's what the freedoms we have. And it is a beautiful gift that we have. And it's already been proven across the nation that we have this plant, that this plant has results. We have the studies, you know. We're not, to those people who are in different states where maybe CBD is what you have access to, Delta 9, Delta 8, like those are blessings of the THC, you know, like the THC is this beautiful plant, this one part of the cannabinoids, but we have so many endocannabinoids within our cannabis plant. So take advantage of the CBDs if they are in your area. If you have access, you know, reach out. There's always people around. You can Google many compassionate caregivers. One was mentioned today, you know, Tori Wright with To Die For Creations. You know, I don't do self-promotion, but, you know, I am here with Justin Purcell and Love Light. You know, we do our best. We're just kind of rolling back. But, you know, just thank you both for your time and for sharing your stories on behalf of patients, you know, as patients, because that was the biggest heartstring in my journey, was really connecting with people who have these stories and realizing like lives depend on this. Like the betterment of lives, the betterment of mental health, like this matters, this plant matters, and free access across the board, just universally, is necessary. So I know that in time we'll get there, but the fight in the meantime is really a corporate fight that's not necessary. So like, let's not feed those dollar bills. And hopefully we can teach everyone to keep tuning in and like teach people how to use their medicines, you know, and how to fight for your rights, what you can do within your own area to advocate for access to your local representatives and different things, you know, just showing up in the picture if you're there and able to. Not everybody is, you know, I always, when I was going around to trade shows and to speak at fests and stuff, it was more like, I'm a voice for those who can't show up, because you can't expect all the patients to show up because they're busy fighting for their lives. Like, you know, so I do consider myself an activist. I do consider myself taking pre-existing conditions, which I think we all should. And everything that we do, we just need to stay in tune, be aware, find our support system. That tribe matters, you know, and tribe isn't always blood. It's the family that we choose to have. And that's what we see here with you guys today. So I am going to go ahead and like wrap up this episode, but I encourage everyone to keep spreading compassion, advocating for accessible and holistic healthcare, nurturing the friendships that are supporting you and that you're supporting on this healing journey, because this is resilience. You know, this is us rising up and taking our lives into our own hands, and we have to choose it. It takes full choosing consciousness every day. Donna and Spring, I extend my gratitude for sharing this friendship with you guys and your guys' healing experience with us on Compassion and Cannabis. Your guys' authenticity and resilience are truly inspiring to me, and I hope those who are tuning in, we've had an opportunity to learn from you guys, and I thank you. I thank you so much. You guys are beacons of hope. And this concludes our episode of Compassion and Cannabis. And for reminding us of the power of friendship and healing in the face of adversity, Donna and Spring, it was an honor to share this space. So stay tuned for more inspiring conversations and stories with me on Compassion and Cannabis, where we explore profound impact of cannabis on our well-being and the power of friendship to navigate your own healing journeys. So until next time, may compassion guide your path toward healing, and may the bonds of friendship be a source of strength and support on your journey. Thank you.